Hello, so the purpose of the video is to show new players that they can play in a way that makes the game super easy and super fun, but also the video is mostly for returning players who want to play the game a second or a third time so they can get the best start, the best strategy, the best equipment, and also the best skills. So if you're wondering what is the best one to start with, the best keepsake, well, in my opinion the best one to start is the lockpick more or less, but that's an item you're not going to be using that much anyway. And you can get the recipe very fast for it. So if you want to go for the completionist one, choose the Ring of Life. The game has 2 Rings of Life. This is the third one. With 3 of these things, you can craft a ring that gives you 20 health. Now, most people not really use it, but it can be very useful in the beginning of the game. It can also be very fun to have it because you'll be more tanky, and it's an item you cannot get otherwise unless you pick this as a first item. Now for the rest of the video, we'll just have to use my old character. And by old character I mean my overpowered character. Let me see where our character is currently at. I guess this is a good start. And once you start the game, there are a few things you should do. Of course, some of them will be finding the learning shrines. So over here, you don't have the map in the beginning of the game, so that's why it might be a little harder to find the things I'm showing you on the map over here. But don't worry, just follow the general direction and you'll find them. And any player who knows where they are, they'll find them as well. So do all of the things you can do in the woodcutter camp, find the hunter over there or somewhere over there if I remember correctly. It was behind some bushes, do everything you can. And then your next goal will be to just get the learning shrines, which will give you a lot of points. The learning shrines, if I remember correctly, one is here, one is here, another one will be here. So you have 3 of the shrines in a very small area. And then the 4th one will be over here. You cannot access it through the island. You'll have to go all around it, kind of like this shape over here. So yeah, woodcutter camp, all of the quests, the 3 shrines, learning ones, and this is the 4th one. So we can access 4 shrines. And then this is the 5th, the 6th, 7 will be in the forest over here, and the 8th will be over here in the floodplain, which is much harder to get. So the first 4 ones will be enough. Well, I guess I also want to use this so I can traverse the map a little faster. So after you do this, your next goal will be to go to a hunter, proper hunter. Remember, you can buy a map over here as well from the merchant. So do that, also buy the ink. Just get all of the things you can get your hands on. That's kind of like the purpose of the game anyway. Everything that can fit in your pocket, you take it. And your pockets are infinite. Also, you'll have to learn about activating the shrines. I'll have a few videos and a few links, a guide and some other stuff linked over here as well. Activate as many of the shrines as you can. I think you can activate 3 or 4 of them. That will give you another point bonus. You might be thinking, what's the point of all of that? Well, it's not really for the stats themselves, it's for the prowess, because you need a certain amount of prowess to use certain weapons. So just keep going over here. And when you reach the Remnant camp, go south. I think this is one of the problems with the game, more or less, because all of the interesting things or the cool things are hidden away. And you might not find them until very late into the game. Babsy. Show me how to get animals. And she's one of the most important trainers in the game because she will actually give you access to some things that will give you almost infinite money. Well, not infinite money, but you need 6,000 coins to get the endgame weapons. 1,000, so that's a lot of money. Pull clothes, skin animals, and animal ichor. So as you can see, she can teach you all of these, and you need 6 learning points just to get these ones out of the way. Now you can come back to animals you killed and extract the ichors, pull out the claws and some other stuff, but that's very boring. You don't want to do that. You might miss a lot of loot anyway. That's one of the most important skills in the game, learning to get extra parts from animals. And then you have to go to the Remnant camp. There are a few hidden things over here. I don't want to mention them because you just have to move around and find them. Very fun. And you want to arrive over here at this location. And Aiden is also one of the most important NPCs in the game as well. He's also a trader, which is kind of funny because he will give you everything you need for a huge part of the game. You also make the upgraded rings over here, silver ring of the bandit. Be clear what they give you, what the rings give you. This is also pretty interesting, but you can only make it much later into the game because spider fruit is harder to get. I recommend you also make this one to regenerate your stamina in combat. It's a massive help in the beginning. Then you have a lot of traps. Buying the trap mold is not that hard, and then you can slow them down, you can make them bleed, poison the target and pulls it towards you. That's kind of weird. Also have the throwing knives, the jagged knives, and also more importantly the healing potions, which will go in a little bit of detail soon enough. Also have the recipe for the lock picking. Wow, he has a lot of money. More importantly, he can teach you the lock picking. Well, not him. Picking the complex lock is Bardock or Zoltan. But you can craft the lock picks for the normal locks. Now, Bardock is in the upper quarter. So once you arrive over here, get the things you need, the traps, the stuff. Woof. And then try it. Well, I guess it depends on how much you want to try it. Zoltan will be in the cave, if I remember correctly, so let's see if that's the way it is. These merchants over here also will have all of the weapons you need and all of the things you might want to buy. Yeah, like this axe over here, it's 37 damage, is one of the strongest weapons in the game. I recommend you play with an axe. The bow is quite good as well, the slingshot is quite good, the spear is good as well, but this is just a lot of extra damage. The other weapons that you can buy at this stage of the game, they're not as strong. And as you can see, you need 35 prowess. So if you do all of the quests and do all of the learning shrines and get all of the stuff I'm going to show you, well, I guess you always want to have about 4 points left so you can make them. You can buy any skills you like, so you don't have to worry about, you know, getting a skill and you don't have points. Go over here and this will be the I think this is the hard lockpick that you need to learn the skill for. Over here you have also a lot of cool things to buy. Teach me lockpicking. Your money. I have nothing else to teach you, thank you. Can this guy teach you the advanced lockpicking or not? Because it doesn't even show over here. This is just the basic ones. You can also steal everything that is over here. To steal stuff you just have to go in one direction, they don't notice you. They lock this all out, okay. Some of the NPCs will also sleep, so you can wait until they sleep. You can also smash all of the crates, get all of the loot. That's technically not stealing. Yeah, anyway, just get acquainted with all of this stuff over here, steal everything you can. Yeah, see? You can even go over here and take this chest, open it, and then you're going to be okay. Press shift to walk normally. Then go over here to the south. This is the Ruin Raider base. In the beginning you cannot do much over here, but you can steal a lot of stuff from this place as well. Also have some trainers over here. This is Zoltan, by the way.
Huh?
Oh, and he stayed over here. So, at this point you have two options. You can either go to the pit over here and with all of the gear you have and unlock everything over there, or you can go to the tavern and try to get back over here through the tavern, but that's also a little bit harder and I'm not sure if you can do that. So, I guess it's up to you what you want to do next. But Zoltan is over here and you can go through the inn, through a cave if you open the back door, and you can go over here. Also, if you explore the cave system, sadly it's a lot of stuff to explore and you just have to go to the left, and once you find a worm, you'll find a very interesting trinket, the Tinkerer's Revenge. which is super useful as you can imagine because it will allow you to craft a lot of stuff. Let's go back outside so I can show you some of the recipes. I guess it also depends on other things as well, but you want to make some traps and you also want to make some throwing weapons if you can. So you'll have a much easier time killing everyone and everything. Come on, let's get out. And then I guess we should speak about the important recipes and the ones that you'll be using a lot, because some items will be used in more recipes and usually there is a straightforward upgrade to the recipe, so you'll be wasting resources if you don't do it the proper way. So let's go over here. Processing, as you can see, you'll have a lot of stuff. This is the trap mold. For the trap mold, you'll need iron ingots and logs. You can buy logs from the woodcutter camp, of course, from the Conan the Barbarian looking guy. Also have the tools over here. As you can see, for some of them you need lumps of iron, and for the traps you need iron ingots. So don't make too much. Don't process everything you have, because sometimes you also need this one. 48 damage and ignore the target's armor, which is great. But then you have the jagged ones, which deal a lot more damage and also ignore the armor but also cause bleed. So definitely you don't want to make throwing knives when you can make jagged throwing knives and you only need teeth. So that's why you need the other skill as well. And 74 damage, I mean, if you throw 10 of these, that will be 700 damage plus the bleed. But you can also just throw the ones that poison and the ones that make them bleed. Such a good effect. Plus this one over here, which is just lumps of iron. Now, they nerfed it, so it's only one use right now and you cannot pick it back up if it's applied to the enemy. So if someone steps on it, it disappears. But it still can cause a bleed and it will still make them slower. And over here we have the acid bombs and the cluster bombs. Now this will be much harder to make, but you'll probably get the hang of it pretty fast. Cluster bomb is the one that I like a lot because it's 200 damage. If iron ingots, leather. Acid could also be interesting because you can throw an acid bomb and then just, you know, use your slingshot or your bow to kill the enemies. Again, I don't really like to use the bows or the slingshots, but you can definitely use them to create effect here as well. Now, as for the food, you can make some of the normal ones, but you can also get the more important ones. 10% more health, 3% more critical chance, so this is the massive ones. But more importantly, at this stage of the game, like I said, pick up everything you can. Go to the locations. If you go into the pit, you might as well take some items from here. So the ideal way would be you come over here, make a few traps, you make a few throwing knives, you get that talisman over there and equip it. Then you go into the pit, and into the pit, well, this is the crazy part. You can actually get 5 tiers of prospecting, but you have to do all of the quests perfectly. So do all of the quests in the pit. Basically the ones that I missed are the ones that I had to beat up the guard. I failed them because I didn't have any traps or I didn't use them in time. Didn't have enough healing either, so definitely beat up the guard and lead the little riot and just whatever else they want from you, do it and accept it. You can get prospecting up to 5, and when you come back over here, guess what? You will have so many resources that you can make many more traps and many more cool things. Plus you'll probably be high enough level to use whatever weapon you like. And then at this point, well, you have to choose a faction, and I recommend you choose it right now because you need to repair that stupid bridge over there, otherwise you'll waste so much time traveling back and forth. So choose a faction, Remnant or this one, but there's a big catch. So I'm not sure which quests will deactivate for you if you choose a faction. So I kind of recommend you do all of the other quests before you join a faction, because it will be very annoying to do it like this, but I want to be 100% sure no one misses a quest. So joining a faction means the bridge is repaired, which is a huge help going back and forth, but at the same time you might miss a few quests. So just do all of the quests, but more importantly go to Jorg farm over there and get a certain recipe, which is the farmer meal. Farmer meal is amazing because it gives you 10% movement speed. To have 10% movement speed plus the sleep bonus will give you another 5%, so that's 15% more movement speed, which is huge. And use this as a bonus, heal using the healing stuff. The other food types, to be honest, I don't really like them. You can find some uses for them as well, but by the time you get them, it's not going to be worth it anyway. So healing will mostly be done through a couple of things. As you can see, the root and the healing plants. So the healing plants will be the most important healing item in the beginning, and then you need the shrooms and the other stuff. So this will be 60, will be 40. And then you have the dark brew, which uses the shade shrooms, the cave shrooms, will be 80. I don't recommend use any of the healing potions because they're just too hard to make. This is actually going to be very helpful, so I recommend you craft this as well. And that's basically it for the healing. You can also make the elixirs that will heal you, but it's going to be a very long journey until you can get some of these. Now, you can make also the elixirs. And this is another big discussion, because some people will recommend you take the stats, some people will recommend you take the focus or the health. Well, let's just say it like this. You want a lot of stats as fast as possible so you can use the best weapons in the game, the in-game weapons that I mentioned. Well, that's going to need you to use all of the Mandragora potions to get strength. You need strength until you get about 50. After that, it's kind of giving you diminishing returns, so after 50 strength, I recommend you go into dexterity a little bit. And then you might as well go into mind to increase your base focus to a certain point so you can always have the voice activated, so you have more movement speed. But that's for later into the game. Let's come back to what we have over here. So don't join the factions, you might miss a few quests. Go to Joke Farm, get the Farmer Mia recipe and all of the items. You can do all of the quests there, do all of the quests over here. You can enter by doing the quests on the farm or just helping the merchant get inside. And then just do whatever else you can over here in Nemeton. Come back over here with the Farmer Mia recipe and other things you have acquired. And this is where things will get very tricky. At this point, I recommend you go for the armor over there. But before you do that, go to the tavern over here, do the quest to the ship. It's not so hard, it's quite decent actually, and you can get a normal piece of armor. You can also go there first of all, so you don't miss so much. Where it is, leather armor set. Oh, to increase the armor, I was looking for armor that gives you 12, but this is 14 armor. So I guess you can just come over here, Nemeton, do what you have, into Remnant Camp, do what you have. Go to the tavern, get the armor, do the quest to the ship, 14 armor, and then do the rest. And over here, you'll just have to craft. So at this point, let's say you have been in the pit, you have been over here, got the moving armor mill bones, you have the armor from here, you have all of the traps built and ready to be used. Then you just have to go over here and fight all of those bandits. You can either draw them over here at the entrance and let the guards assist you in killing them. You can also just make a lot of slowing traps and bleeding traps, and you can kill them if you just move around for a very long time. But I recommend you have a combination of all of these stuff. So just put down a lot of crow's feet trap, maybe 10 of them. Again, the bleed will not stack, and they can only step on them once, and then they'll just get the slowing effect. Make a lot of crow's feet, make a few bear traps if you feel like you're in danger. Heavy bleeding is different from normal bleeding, so you can make a few of these. So make a few crow traps so they get the bleeding and are slowed down, and then the bear traps for stunning and heavy bleeds. And I recommend you just put 4 or 5 at the same location, and when they get stuck in them, use the cluster bombs to kill them. Because this will do massive amount of damage. You can even kill the golems if you have this equipped. And then you'll get the bandit's heavy armor, which will give you a critical chance of 10%. So that's basically it, you can finish the game with this stuff. And at this point, like I said, you should probably have joined a faction after you do all of this stuff, and then you have to do the signets and the rest of the learning shrines and the missing quest. That's a lot of hard work, but at this point of the game, if you do it like this, you'll be able to access the ruined raiders and buy the best weapon in the game, whatever you like. For example, I have the axe executioner, super useful. And there are a few other things you have to get on your way as well. You might not be able to use this when you get it, so you have to do the quest with the Blessing of the Divinities, which is creating your very own talisman. To do the quest, you need to go into Nemeton. I think it was near a well. I think it's near this area over here where you see a druid and 2 kids. Play with the kids. help them make a talisman for the druid, and then you'll get this quest. It's kind of annoying, it's kind of long, but it will give you 15 prowess. That will help you equip the endgame weapon much faster. Definitely worth it. And over here we have the Ring of Blood. The Ring of Blood only is available when you see Lord Trees at the tavern over here. And he should be outside sleeping, or sometimes he's inside the tavern. So speak with him, do the quest with the weird locations, and you'll get the Ring of Blood. You can all link that as well. It's very easy to do, but it's very hard to understand what you have to do because you get very vague hints. And at this point, you should have everything you need to equip the endgame weapon. You should have the money to equip it, because if you follow my steps, it's very easy. So this will be equipped. These are endgame items that you might obtain later, but you can just equip whatever you like. You have everything you need, and now it's time to play the game normally. So sorry I didn't show you all of these things, but it's just a combination of all of the things I've shown, and I think if I'd play the game, this is definitely the best way to do it, and it will be so fast, and I would get everything, including the stuff I missed, like the last 2 prospecting levels, which will give you more ore from mining, which will be amazing. Plus, with that picking logs. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this, but if you do the pit quest, you can also go into the upper area of the game, which I currently cannot access because I'm banned. So you can learn the advanced lock picking, and probably that's what you need to enter the area over there, in the shrine. So probably you need to go to the pit first before you can access the Ruin Raiders, in case you cannot do it now. Developers might have changed a few things here and there, but it's how it should work. Alternatively, you can go through the tavern pit if you can open the door or steal the key and just go through there, but that's going to be a little harder to find anyway. But you have a lot of opportunities to do it, so yeah. I think a lot of people are just ignoring some of the basic things, like the farmer meal, which is amazing, the traps and the throwing knives, which will be amazing in the beginning of the game if you do them, the healing items that you can obtain, the recipes. Also try to steal them or try to buy them. You can also make some of the potions from over here that will help you immensely, but killing the harpies is very hard in the beginning. You also try to buy the things and make some golem ointments, which will help you a lot in certain fights. For example, this will be very good against the bandits. You also have the potions that you can use the Mandragora for, but I recommend you use them just for the raw stats. And like I said, go to 50 strength, then get some dexterity, and then just have enough base focus to use the shouts all the time. So base focus of 40, so you can get another movement speed of 15%. So basically with the sleep, the farmer meal, and this one, it will be 30% more movement speed that is permanently activated on your character. That will make moving around so much easier. Plus, if you don't want to invest in the beginning, you can just use the food, the spring blossoms or the spring words. Just buy them. I usually buy the spring words because they're cheaper, of course. And you can use them to activate the buff at all times, which will make the game so much easier. I mean, let's see a little bit of the difference. This is my current movement speed. It's a huge difference. I don't think I have time. I mean, I'm 100% sure I don't have enough time to play the game again to show you all of these things, but it's definitely the way to do it. Then you just complete whatever else you have left, and it will be so much easier because basically 50% of my time in game was spent traveling around. So yeah, if you do it like this, you'll basically save yourself about 20 hours of traveling around in case you want to 100% the game. Anyway, see you next time, bye bye.